Yo, how's it going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Now, UFC 299 is gearing up to be a very entertaining event with a lot of very interesting matchups. There's fights here like Peter Yan versus Song Yadong, Gilbert Burns versus Jack Della Maddalena, and Dustin Poirier versus Benoit Saint Denis that are all pretty interesting matchups, given the fact that, some of these older fighters are pretty much fighting to maintain their rankings. And some of these younger guys are pretty much trying to climb up and potentially make a title run. Now, before we go ahead and get into the discussion, I would really appreciate if you guys consider subscribing to this channel, leave a comment, and like this video. And without further ado, let's get into the discussion. So currently right now, Song Yadong definitely has the momentum on his side. He's coming off a 2-win streak, one against Ricky Simon, the other against Chris Gutierrez. His last loss was against Corey Sandhagen back in September 17th of 2022. And I feel like he's going to want to continue to prove himself, right? And he's going to come in with a whole lot of confidence, given the fact that, Peter Yan is on a 2-fight losing streak, one against Sean O'Malley and another one against Maral Davashvili. But of course, Peter Yan is a very dangerous man with a very dangerous system that puts a lot of pressure on fighters. And I 100% expect Peter Yan to come in and put a performance to kind of redeem himself from those other matchups that he just lost against. Now, this is going to be a big test for Song Yadong. They gave him a test with Corey Sandhagen, and obviously he lost that one. If Song Yadong is able to get through Peter Yan, he is definitely he's gonna be big in the UFC. I think that the UFC is gonna definitely try to push this man towards fighting for the title sometime soon. And that's going to be something that I would love to see. But I would also love to see Peter Yan come back, right, and have a redeeming performance and, hopefully have a matchup against Sean O'Malley sometime too. It's very hard for me to pick a fighter. It's very hard for me to pick a favorite in this matchup. Honestly, if I'm being completely honest, given the fact that Peter Yan he's already been a champion before. He's a championship level fighter. This one's kind of up in the air for me. But if I had to pick a fighter, I would definitely pick Peter Yan. I would love to see him have another fight against Sean O'Malley sometime in the future. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Now, the next fight that I want to talk about in this video is a fight that's going under the radar for some freaking reason. And I don't understand why it is, but it's a very good fight on paper. And what fight is that? Well, it's Jack Della Maddalena versus the scary Gilbert Burns. So the 37-year-old Gilbert Burns currently is number 4 in the welterweight rankings. He had a pretty active 2023. He had wins over Neil Magny, a win over Jorge Masvidal. And of course, we saw Jorge Masvidal retire right after that fight. And he suffered a loss against Belal Muhammad, but let's just be honest, man. Gilbert Burns fought with a broken hand. He fought with 3 limbs that night. Belal Muhammad was just pretty much able to take advantage of the fact and get like what many consider a cheap win, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to dog Belal Muhammad for that. He did what he had to do. But a healthy Gilbert Burns, ladies and gentlemen, is a dangerous Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns is a man that can crack, man. This guy is a dude who has very serious freaking power in his hands. And let's not forget that Jack Della Maddalena is a guy that can box as well. So I feel like this is going to be a very entertaining fight. Of course, Jack Della Maddalena is coming for that ranking. And of course, Gilbert Burns is going to have to, again, like we said in the previous fight, he's going to have a performance that is kind of redeeming against Jack Della Maddalena, which in my opinion is going to be a very tough task for Gilbert Burns. Now, my prediction for this fight, if I'm going to be completely honest, my brain is telling me Jack Della Maddalena. But I'd be lying to you guys if I told you that I felt comfortable going against Gilbert Burns. Because like I said, man, when Gilbert Burns is healthy, he's been proven to be a tough dude to get through in the octagon for multiple fighters. Now, the way that I see this fight kind of playing out is I feel like JDM is probably going to outstrike Gilbert Burns, and Gilbert Burns might look for opportunities to use some of his grappling to take away some of Jack Della Maddalena's momentum. And that's pretty much just how I see the fight going. But like I said, My brain is telling me Jack Della Maddalena, but I'm very curious to read what you guys have to say down in the comment section below. Like I said, it's hard as hell to go against someone like Gilbert Burns, but maybe this just might be the fight where Jack Della Maddalena proves himself to hit another tier in his development. But we will have to tune in to watch at UFC 299 to see if that's going to happen or not. Now, this next fight, ladies and gentlemen, was the premise of this entire freaking video, and it's a very, very important fight in the lightweight division. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be on their feet in anticipation of the results of this matchup, because it might be a bittersweet fight, ladies and gentlemen. Just to be completely honest, it might be the end of an era and the birth of a new one, and that is going to be the God of War, Benoit Saint Denis, versus Dustin the Diamond Poirier. Now, Benoit Saint Denis is the 28-year-old that is currently in a 5-fight win streak, who's only lost one fight in his UFC career, and that was way back in 2021. This guy is a fighter, right, who looks like he's a lot older than what he is, and he looks like he fights like a veteran in the sport, right? But this guy is only 28 years old, pretty much just entered the physical prime of his career. So it's going to be a very interesting fight. This guy is a very aggressive fighter. Rarely do you ever see Benoit Saint Denis take a step back. You know, he's on the last 2 fights he had ended by way of knockout. So obviously Benoit Saint Denis is coming into this fight with all the confidence in the world. But with what's at stake, ladies and gentlemen, it's like the same song and dance. Dustin Poirier is going to have a performance that is redeeming to his career. And it's going to be a very important fight for him because he's fighting a big prospect, ladies and gentlemen. So there is a lot of talking going around right now in the MMA community. Everybody is wondering whether or not Dustin Poirier made a, successful recovery after getting knocked out in a vicious way by, Justin Gaethje. And there is a lot of fighters and a lot of professionals that claim that once you get knocked out like that, you usually don't come back as the same fighter, right? And maybe there is some truth to that. I'm not here to argue whether that's true or not. But everybody seems to be drawing the comparison of Volkanovski versus Ilya. And everybody is saying that, well, since Volkanovski got knocked out by Islam Makhachev, he didn't come back the same way and lost to Ilya Topuria. Whether that's true or not, I'm not here to argue that. But there is a lot of talking going around in the MMA community, and everybody seems to say that the end of this era is here and the new era is coming, and Dustin Poirier is next in line to pretty much fulfill that prophecy. Look, I'd be lying to you guys if I told you that I thought that Benoit Saint Denis is the better fighter, because I don't think that at all. I feel like, the step up in competition is pretty substantial and it's hard to ignore. Benoit Saint Denis went from fighting Matt Frevola all the way up to Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier, who is a fighter, that's been consistently fighting high-level competition for a long time. He's been in the top 5 for a while. And Dustin Poirier has been tried. Many have failed. And there's a reason why Dustin Poirier has been consistently in the top 5 for a large portion of his career. And look, I'm just being completely honest. I feel like Dustin Poirier is better in the striking department. For some pretty obvious reasons. I feel like Dustin Poirier has better footwork, and with better footwork, you have better positioning. And with good positioning, you're able to be a better counter fighter, which I think that Dustin Poirier is. I feel like he presses the fight a lot more, and he's able to create space a lot more. When you have space, you have time to be defensive. You have time to think about being defensive. And, Dustin Poirier is a fighter, and a lot of people don't even freaking realize this. Dustin Poirier is a fighter who is really damn good at initiating his offense by using his defense. And a lot of people don't freaking catch that for some reason. Everybody thinks that, he's just purely a pressure fighter and he just likes to stand and bang. But no, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot going on with Dustin Poirier. This fight is going to be pretty interesting. Both these guys are southpaws. And I just wonder what the hell is going to happen. But I'd be lying to you guys, and I'd be lying to each and every single one of you guys if I told you that I thought that Benoit Saint Denis was going to win this fight. Just because of the step up in competition, it's pretty freaking crazy. It's pretty freaking crazy in my opinion. But yeah. So with my early prediction, I am picking Dustin Poirier to seal the deal and beat Bane Washingtonese. I even see maybe a TKO win for Dustin Poirier. I feel like he is going to do a successful job at having a redeeming performance, if I'm being completely honest. But of course, I feel like I have to say this. This is MMA, ladies and gentlemen, and anything could freaking happen. Unpredictability is a real thing in this sport. So with that being said, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. If there was any takes that you guys disagree with me, let me know down in the comment section below. I'm always reading the comments. And as always, it's a pleasure talking to each and every single one of you guys. Peace out and have a good one.